So the question is, why would so many people with the same resources and the same challenges running the same business get different results? Hey, I'm smart, I'm working hard, it's not my fault, we just have too much competition. Most franchisees buy into the myth that success is created by combining strategy with sweat. And it turns out the people who are succeeding the most and who are making the most money and having the most fun are not necessarily those who are working the hardest, and it's not necessarily those working the longest or even those with the best ideas. But I'll guarantee this third factor is impacting your studio and your experience of running it. And that third factor is our mindset. So for 10 years, I was an edible arrangements franchisee, and I experienced the highs of being a franchisee, and I experienced the other stuff as well. Fortunately, over the course of those years, we were able to make some money. I built the first store, and we ended up buying a store that wasn't doing so well, and we were able to turn it around. Made a lot of money when I sold the stores a year and a half ago. I was able to mentor a bunch of employees and help a whole lot of customers celebrate special occasions in their lives. And certainly I had some experiences and learned a little bit about leadership on the good days. But then there were the bad days, where the bills were there and the money was not. How many of you know that feeling of it just feels like the entire thing is crashing down around you and you're thinking, what have I done? Do you know that feeling? I'm sorry, you have not experienced entrepreneurship until you've sat at a desk and you've had to triage that stack of bills to determine which you will pay and which you won't. Valentine's Day 2013, because of a series of operational snafus, we failed to deliver 50 orders. 50 girlfriends and wives were at work watching everyone else get flowers, but not them. And once it hit 4:30, at least 50 husbands and boyfriends started calling us. It was so intense. We had already been up all night trying to make orders, and these people were screaming and yelling, and my employees were falling apart and freaking out and panicking, and everyone was exhausted. No one knew what to do. And they're saying, Scott, what should we do? Begging and pleading. And finally, I just said, I can't handle this. I'm overwhelmed. I went to the office, and I closed the door. And I took my 5 seconds. And that's all I needed. I stepped outside. I said, lock the doors. Put the phones on voicemail. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to solve this one order at a time. It took about 36 hours. By the time it was all done, only 2 people complained on Yelp. Everyone else either got refunds, we made it right, and they were happy. And most of those people used us again. But the only way we were able to find the solutions to compartmentalize was by first taking care of here and then acting out here. Which brings us to the next thing we have to do. Besides managing our individual mindset, we also have to look at the culture of our organizations so that we can recommit to our partnership with our home office. We've been talking so far about mindset and how high-performance franchisees, what distinguishes them is their mindset. What distinguishes high-performance franchise systems is their culture. And basically, culture is the plural of mindset. If I were to take all your thoughts and feelings in this room and put them together, what would be left with is your culture. And I wanted to know a little bit about the Speed Pro culture, so I asked you a question in the survey. I said, please describe your home office and what you experience working with them. And I got a lot of different responses. Honestly, a number of you had some great things to say. And not just newer people, but even some of you who were here when Blair still ran things, even some of those people had very good things to say. Others of you, not so much. Let me share with you a few comments. They seem to be more focused on adding franchises than on supporting the ones they already have. They're out of touch with what's happening at the local level. They introduce new initiatives without consulting franchisees. They speak to us as if we're employees rather than partners. I know it's a little bit of the elephant in the room, but let's be honest now. By a show of hands, how many of you sometimes agree with some of this stuff? Tell the truth. Okay. Now that's very interesting, because these comments actually came from a different franchise. Which one? All of them. I work with so many franchises. I ask the same questions in my conversations, in the surveys, and I hear the same complaints. And in me sharing that with you, I'm not suggesting that there isn't a certain amount of truth here. I have no idea what it's like to work with these guys. But when I start to hear the same things, it starts to make me think maybe the issue isn't these franchisees or that franchisor. It makes me think maybe it's that relationship itself. There was huge backlash when our corporate office said they were going to now require all stores to be open on Sundays. At that point, that was not the case. People hated the idea. They resisted it, and they fought it tooth and nail, and actually even formed a franchise association, hired an attorney, and a huge class action lawsuit came. I mean, so much dysfunction that was so distracting, and worst of all, it helped deteriorate this, what was otherwise a functional relationship. Well, we ended up opening on Sundays. I made a ton of money. I can't tell you how many times even I resisted what the corporate office was doing, believed that they were out of touch, didn't want to spend the money. But the reality is my store kind of needed some remodeling. And the reality is, as much as I thought chocolate dipped banana wedges were going to be lame, I didn't want to bother learning bananas, I didn't want to have to introduce it to my customers, when we did, oh my God, you people love bananas. As a speaker, if I could still sell chocolate for bananas to you, I will. It was such an amazing upsell, but I resisted it. They came in with another arrangement called the perfect pair. That didn't do so well. That one did not work. Turns out our people who are running our franchise are human, and they make mistakes, but at least they're innovating. What I learned is, if I could fail with them a little bit of the time, it would enable me to succeed with them a whole lot of the time. But it meant in that tug of war, being willing to let go. The biggest complaint that I get from franchisors across the country about their franchisees is that they don't take responsibility for their own businesses. As a franchisee, what I think that so many franchisees just simply don't know how good and strong and powerful they are. You are a great company that is growing with colleagues that are making money. You have amazing Yelp reviews. I've seen them. You are a beloved brand. You are sitting on a gold mine. It's just a matter of mining the gold. The best way to do this is to start from the inside out. Clear your head and focus on your mindset. Collectively, work to make sure you have a great culture, and then take that all the way to the customer. And I promise, you do that, not only will your business be unstoppable, but along the way, you'll have a good time and a much better quality of life. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your time. See you next time.